Rural Kansas residents say they've had enough having the lights from wind turbines affecting their everyday life. I'm Bronte Sorotsky with a bill that could change things for them in a big way.
Gas prices are soaring as Russia's invasion of Ukraine continues. I'm Madison Allworth in Bud Lake, New Jersey. I have the details coming up.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Jordan Abbey. Authorities released the name of a Joplin man killed in a crash yesterday afternoon. Investigators say 25-year-old Jonathan Beavers was driving a car that crossed the center line, hit an oncoming car on Coyote Drive in southwest Joplin. Beavers passed away at the scene. 2 Seneca residents, a woman and a teenage girl, were in the other car. The woman's injuries were listed as serious at last report. The teen's injuries were moderate. Grand River Dam Authority police have identified a drowning victim at Grand Lake as 60-year-old Kevin Callanan of Sarcoxie, Missouri. Authorities say last Thursday, Callanan was backing a truck and trailer down a boat ramp at Twin Bridges State Park. As he was going down the boat ramp, the truck went into the water and Callanan never resurfaced. Meteorologist Doug Heddy joining us now. Chilly day today, Monday, Doug.
It was. Clouds stuck around all day long. Temperatures struggled to warm up behind the storm system that gave us the showers, the thunderstorms over the weekend. 35 was our high, started at 27. We should be topping out upper 50s for this time of the year. The clouds have really broken up over the past couple hours, but they're going to actually thicken back up later on tonight ahead of another little wave, which is going to track out across the southern plains over the next several hours. Temperatures, mainly upper 20s to near 30, will drop back into the mid 20s a little bit later on tonight. We do have some snow chances in the forecast. We're going to look at that here in just a bit.
Doug, thanks as always. Crawford County Sheriff's Office is just plain tired of people going around those stopped school buses with their stop signs engaged. So the Sheriff's Office has a warning. Deputies are going to be out patrolling school bus routes, giving out violations. Violations that entail a fine and a court cost of $423.
I think people, if it did happen, they did it, and then they're like, oh man, I just saw it the last second, I didn't. So I think you have those, and I think sometimes people just aren't paying attention is what it is. And as we all know, everybody knows, in school year, the buses are out and about and they're picking up kids, and you just have to be aware of that.
Sheriff's Office, above all, wants people to remember that not stopping for school buses that have their stop signs engaged puts the lives of children at risk. A local COVID testing site is making some changes to better serve the community. Starting today, Seeds of Hope is offering free rapid testing at its Joplin location. Their Neosho location is going to get rapid tests on Friday. They do still offer PCR testing at both locations. Officials say when you show up for testing, they're going to perform both tests so you can be sure of your results.
But I believe now, since we have the rapids, we'll probably get more busier, because the employers can send their employees down here if they need to get the rapid test, so they know right then. We don't know how long this virus is going to be here, but we're here for the long haul.
Seeds of Hope is also changing the lab they send a PCR test to because the previous lab has staffing issues that led to delays. Some Southeast Kansas residents say they'd like to see the state do more to mitigate the effects emitted from wind turbine lights. KON's Bronte Sorotsky spoke with a Labette County resident, also a state senator, on a bill that aims to fix this issue.
These wind turbines might not look like much during the day, but at night, all you can see are bright, blinking lights.
We were traveling home from doing some ministry work and came up on 101 highway to head home towards Mill Valley, Kansas, and we noticed just a bunch of red flashing lights that just went miles from about this view.
Debbie Kramer is a concerned resident of Labette County. She says the lights from the wind turbines that guide aircrafts hit rural residents like herself the hardest.
I'm here to voice the concerns of those who do have to live around the lights continually.
Senate Bill 478 would make Kansas wind energy systems possess light mitigating technology systems in compliance with federal aviation regulations.
The way it would work is that most of these work on radar technology. So when there's an aircraft nearby, it turns the lights on. Otherwise, the lights stay off. So it would greatly reduce the amount of time that you're seeing those aviation lights flashing.
Kansas isn't the first state to look at technology like this. In North Dakota, state law requires most wind farms to have this technology.
But now they need to step up and start helping to protect our rural Kansas, because it really is impacting an awful lot of people.
Kramer says not all residents are affected by these lights, but the ones who are could really use the relief.
There's nothing that we can do to keep lights off of the turbines. It's there to protect the aircraft. But what is important is that this Senate bill, it's a great answer to alleviate the annoyance of the lighting issues that we have.
In Lebec County, Bronte Sorotsky, KUAM News.
The bill is going to be heard in a committee this Wednesday. Russia's attack on Ukraine continues to impact gas prices right here in the U.S., and some travel experts warn prices could surge even further in the next few weeks. Fox Business Network's Madison Allworth has more.
It's a shocking sight at the pump. Gas prices rising above $4 for the first time since 2008.
It hurts inside and it's premium, so even more.
In just the last 7 days, prices have climbed more than 11%. According to AAA, states in the Northeast and on the West Coast are paying the most. In California, the statewide average topped $5.30 on Monday, but some stations are charging $6 or more.
I have a baby, so I gotta save where I can. This is one of them.
Russia is one of the world's major oil exporters, but the country's invasion of Ukraine is stoking fears of supply shortages and driving up oil prices to new highs. On Sunday, Secretary of State Blinken said the U.S. is coordinating with European and NATO allies for a possible ban on Russian oil. That announcement sent the price of crude oil spiking to a 13-year high of $130.
The United States can be energy independent. All of us in the West are going to have to tighten our belts for some economic challenges because our democratic freedoms are at risk.
The impact is now falling on consumers. AAA says that the crisis overseas and the increase in demand here in the U.S. will send gas prices higher in the coming weeks.
The reality is we don't know how high these prices are going to go or when we're going to see relief at the pumps.
To save on gas, AAA recommends paying in cash and combining errands to cut down on your drive time. In Bud Lake, New Jersey, I'm Madison Allworth, Fox Business.
The International Monetary Fund is warning that the Russia-Ukraine conflict is going to have a, quote, severe impact on the global economy. The financial watchdog cited, as we just heard about, rising oil and gas prices as one of the current consequences. The IMF says it's also weighing Ukraine's request for $1.4 billion in emergency aid. The humanitarian crisis is worsening across Eastern Europe as Ukrainians continue to seek refuge in neighboring countries amid heavy shelling by Russian forces. Fox News correspondent Lauren Blanchard is in Poland with more on what's happening in the region.
As the refugee crisis in Ukraine deteriorates, we are hearing stories of survival and resilience from people crossing into neighboring countries. Hundreds of thousands of Ukrainian women and children continue to pour over the border and into countries like here in Poland, as the Russian invasion creates a devastating refugee situation across parts of Europe. According to the United Nations, more than 1.7 million people have fled Ukraine. Families are feeling the pain and sorrow of leaving the country they call home.
We had a very good life in Ukraine, in Kyiv. We love our country, but we left to our children would have a future.
There were horrible things happening. They will haunt me at night. I will never be able to sleep.
The war entered its 12th day Monday, and scenes at train stations remain the same. Families packing trains to escape the country before it's too late. With Russian troops intensifying attacks on Kiev and other major cities, there's a growing sense that train service in the country may soon be shut down.
My feeling is that I'm afraid about tomorrow. I'm not afraid about now. Most of all, I'm afraid about tomorrow. What will happen in Ukraine next? What's the next day?
U.S. officials confirmed Monday Russia has now deployed nearly 100% of its pre-staged forces into Ukraine. Over the weekend, the Pentagon positioned an additional 500 troops in the region, bringing the number of American forces in Europe to 100,000. A third round of peace talks between Ukraine and Russia has ended without any major breakthroughs. In Poland, Lauren Blanchard, Fox News.
KOM News at 9 on Fox 14 takes this time now to honor another four-state hero. Leonard Sill Jr., serving the U.S. Marines, a native of Galena, Kansas. Sill was stationed in Vietnam, earning several awards. We are proud to thank and salute Staff Sergeant Leonard Silla Jr. He's tonight's 4-state hero. Doug Heddy's next with a complete look at the forecast. And later in sports, 2 Pittsburgh high school seniors signing on to continue their athletic careers in college.
Well, it definitely turned out to be a cold day for us today. Temperatures struggling to warm up. We had the clouds sticking around most of the day after our storm system over the weekend gave us quite a bit of rain across the region. Some showers, some thunderstorms, good old thunderstorms, about 1.25 inches in Joplin. For the year, we're about 4.25 inches. We should be at 4.5, so we are behind average by about 1/4 inch. But heading into the spring months, we usually get quite a bit of rain. Look at our temps past couple days. It's been chilly, only into lower 40s. Yesterday, we stuck into lower 30s all day long for us today. And it is cold anywhere where the clouds have been breaking up. Mid-20s to lower 30s. I think on average, most of us will sit 25, 26 later on tonight. 30 in Joplin. Our humidity's at 75%. Northerly winds are light at about 5 to 10. You can see the clouds breaking up over the past several hours, but these are going to work right back in. Later on tonight, another wave which is going to roll across the southern parts of the plains, and this will increase our clouds. You can see it out here across southern parts of the Rockies. It's not going to do much for us except cloud cover. Any rain will mainly stay to our south, but there is another storm system behind it that will start to affect us later on this week. So eventually, mostly cloudy skies in here once again. Later on tonight, and then again tomorrow, mostly cloudy skies, but our temperature is a little bit warmer. 27 to start, 39 by noon. High temp right around 44, which is better than what we have seen over the past couple days. Tomorrow night, you can see a few random little sprinkles may try to rotate through, and then we drop off upper 20s to near 30. Wednesday looks pretty good. Mid-50s, partly sunny skies, and then our next storm system will start to brew out to our west. You can see the snow starting to increase to our north by midday on Thursday. I actually think we will start as rain and then possibly over to a rain-snow mix. Very light Thursday evening into Thursday night, mainly light snow. And then on Friday, another wave kind of ejects out, which could make the snow a little bit heavier, but this is still several days away. We do have a pretty decent shot that we could see accumulating snow. But how much, we need to really kind of wait for another day or two before we really put amounts on that, but at least the chances are there. Turning much colder behind it Friday night into Saturday morning, and then Saturday stays cold. Sunday we start to warm things back up, and then our next storm system rolls in by Monday, giving us some rain chances back into the forecast. 44 for us tomorrow, 55 on Wednesday, 54 on Thursday, but dropping. High of only 32 on Friday, down to 14 Friday night. We do spring forward this weekend, so the sun won't set till almost 7:30, but we lose an hour of our weekend.
Yeah, it's always that catch-22, right? I know teachers in particular are just sick of snow. So
yeah, there's been quite a few
snow days
this past past 4 or 5 weeks.
All right, we'll see you in a little bit. Thanks so much, Doug. Coming up, deadly weather.
It's the deadliest weather event here in more than a decade. 7 people lost their lives following a direct hit from what's believed to be an EF3 tornado. I'm Brandy Campbell in Winterset, Iowa. I'll have details coming up.
Oklahoma officials are shifting their coronavirus response efforts to an endemic approach. State Interim Health Commissioner Keith Reed says the department is preparing to begin a transition, quote, into the endemic phase of this pandemic. Now, a disease reaches the endemic stage when the virus still exists in the community but becomes manageable as immunity builds. Reed says the shift to an endemic response doesn't change the way the health department would respond if a new variant caused another surge. They're still assessing the damage in central Iowa after a massive tornado strike over the weekend. Fox Multimedia correspondent Brandy Campbell has more from Winterset, Iowa.
We literally thought that our house was going to fly away.
Survivors in central Iowa say they're grateful to be alive after a massive tornado ripped through the city of Winterset over the weekend. At least 7 people lost their lives. 4 of those were members of the same family, including 2 small children who died along with their father and grandmother when the house they were sheltering in was destroyed. And 2 others who died were sheltering in homes just down the street.
It was really scary. You could just hear the wind and stuff hitting the house.
At least 52 homes were either severely damaged or completely destroyed. There are still some customers without power as toppled trees collided with electric lines and transformers, making it difficult for some folks to assess the damage.
Right now we're just cleaning everything up and getting pictures and objects and praying for families who are still looking for their family members.
Iowa Governor Kim Reynolds is promising a quick rebuilding effort, but it won't be easy. The tornadoes were followed by winter storms that dropped about 5 inches of snow in the area. Still, emergency officials say there are plenty of volunteers ready and willing to help with the recovery.
Everyone went out there just wants to help, right? Just want to help and want to work and get back to where it used to be.
And forecasters say the skies here should remain clear until Thursday when more snow is predicted. In Winterset, Iowa, I'm Brandy Campbell for Fox News.
Still ahead, look at how many retailers are reimagining their layouts and shopping experiences, reorganizing under a new normal because of COVID.
Columbus, Kansas.
A new study examines the links between height and the risk of colorectal cancer. The study from Johns Hopkins Medicine Research says tall people might have a greater risk of developing colorectal cancer or malignant colon polyps and should possibly be screened more often for them. Scientists looked at 47 international studies covering more than 200,000 colorectal patients and more than 1,400 colonoscopy cases. Now, taller people had almost 25% more risk for colorectal cancer. They say taller people may have more mutation possibilities in organs because of taller size. The coronavirus pandemic created a boom for online retailers, but now more physical retail stores are opening their doors fully and loosening restrictions. Some chains are starting to reimagine their store layouts and spaces. Fox's Chris DeMeo has more on some of the new features you may soon see.
Consumer spending started the year on a positive note. The latest data revealing retail sales surged nearly 4% in January, but economists say that statistic doesn't tell the whole picture about the progress retailers have made since the holiday shopping season.
About half the retail sales increases are due to inflation.
And it's inflation and other economic pressures that has some retailers trying to stay competitive.
Come up with new, fresh strategies to compete with the online channel.
Dick's Sporting Goods is enhancing its customer experience with a rock wall in its House of Sport concept.
One strategy that is being used is to launch just a couple of concept stores to experiment with some new strategies.
Whole Foods just opened its first store with cashierless technology in Washington, D.C., and has plans to open another location in Los Angeles and possibly expand beyond that. Cameras and sensors track the items customers want, and then they're charged when they leave. Target plans to open more than 200 additional Ulta stores in its locations around the country. And Casper, which sells sleep products, has opened its premier branded store within a store at a Bed Bath & Beyond in New York City.
Integrating digital devices like mobile phones and interactive displays into the store to make shopping more convenient and also to enhance the sensory experience in a store as well.
But despite all those new strategies, retailers face an uphill battle to try and hold on to profits this year. A truck driver shortage and the supply chain crisis remain. And the crisis in Ukraine is driving up prices of some business expenses, including fuel. Chris DeMeo, Fox News.
Next, chance to relive those good old days. This time around, though, take a look at that. It's going to cost a pretty penny. The gold-plated Walkman when we come back. The Walkman is back. Sorta. Sony has unveiled 2 new Walkman music players, but they're going to cost you. One is made out of an aluminum alloy that provides a case with protection against electrical noise and other interference. And that one's going to for about $1,600, while the other one is gold-plated. It's going to cost $3,200. But for those hoping to use old cassette tapes, if you want to actually shell out that money and use a cassette tape, sorry, you're not going to be able to, as this Walkman, those 2, are only going to allow MP3 files and streaming. Come on, though. I mean, if you're going to do it, if you're going to recreate it, Do it right, you know? Cassette tapes, come on. All right, the world's largest cruise ship set sail. Look at that. Royal Caribbean's Wonder of the Seas has set off on its inaugural voyage from Fort Lauderdale to Haiti, Puerto Rico, Nassau, and the Bahamas. Look at that back. The ship has 18 decks. 18. Measures 1,188 feet in length, 210 feet in width. Cruise Line says the ship can hold up to about 7,000 guests and 2,300 crew members. Has 9 restaurant options, 11 specialty eateries, 11 bars, and lounges. Huh, it's like a mini city, right? Mini city. All right, 30 more minutes, news, weather, and sports coming away. Joplin City Council discussing adding an ordinance that would supersede the state's guidelines for lodging establishments.
A trucker convoy keeps rolling around the D.C. area in protest of COVID mandates. I'm Caroline Shively in Washington. I'll have details straight ahead.
Box 14.
Joplin City Council today discussed adding a lodging ordinance to the city's codes. An ordinance would allow the city of Joplin to supersede state lodging rule. The state's rule sets guidelines for lodging establishments regarding sanitation and safety standards for things like food, wiring, plumbing, and pools. According to the state, a lodging establishment is building with at least 5 guest rooms, so it would not include most short-term rentals like Airbnb.
Having an ordinance in place, it would provide some consistency on the inspections. It would also give us the ability to possibly strengthen some existing codes.
According to a survey by the city manager, there are 24 establishments in Joplin that qualify, with the smallest having 20 rooms and the largest having 138. A ribbon cutting today marked the completion of a renovation of the original Broadway entrance to Pitt State's Russ Hall. The original entrance was built back in 1940. This renovation was funded with gifts from senior classes of 2000 and 2003 through 2008.
Those senior class gifts are usually the first gifts as donors to an institution, and giving back is critical. You'll notice on campus there are tag events all over that celebrate and acknowledge the gifts that are made possible through gifts from community members.
The opening today coincides with the university's annual Apple Day celebration, and a number of other events celebrated Apple Day at Pitt State, including the traditional Apple Dessert Contest. Apple Day is the university's longest running tradition.
You know, I've only participated as a judge, and I'll tell you that the judge positions are pretty coveted positions. It's a big deal to be able to judge the contest, and so
Apple Day at Pitt State dates back to 1907, when the university's founder and the Pittsburgh president were fined a barrel of apples for sitting in on a legislator's seat while lobbying for the school. Apple Day coincides with Giving Day at Pitt State. It's a 24-hour campaign encouraging alumni and people in the community to give back to the university. There are several challenges to raise funds and awareness for different departments and programs.
These funds will go to student organizations. They'll go to essentially anywhere that the donor wants to have those funds go. But it's a chance to say, hey, give back, support Pitt State. And again, along with Apple Day is one of our oldest traditions. We're hoping that this new tradition, it's our 5th year, we can add that to everyone's mind as well.
You can visit our website for more information on how to donate towards the Giving Day. Well, members of the Oklahoma House unveiled a package of new restrictions to crack down on illegal cannabis growers. The 12-point plan includes a standardization of lab testing and equipment, more inspections of grow facilities, separate licenses for marijuana wholesalers, and stringent new reporting requirements for growers. Officials say nearly 10% of Oklahomans have a medical license to buy and use marijuana. Law enforcement officials argue the loose regulations right now have led to an increase in illegal operations. Well, the IRS wants to beef up its workforce. Listen to this. Let's beef up its workforce to help its backlog of tax processing. The tax agency says it would like to add 10,000 new workers. That's according to a new report. The IRS still has 10 million personal tax returns and 4 million business returns to finish processing, in addition to starting on a new tax season. However, the Professional Managers Association is skeptical the IRS can actually fulfill this wish. saying it sounds like an extension of a previous goal to hire 5,000 workers, and really, in the end, only 200 were hired. The IRS has shifted 1,200 employees to deal with the backlog. Those truckers who drove cross-country to the D.C. area to stage a weekend convoy aren't giving up just yet. They've rolled around the Capitol Beltway again today and say they got a meeting with a member of Congress to discuss the direction of this country. Fox News correspondent Caroline Shively reports now from D.C.
For members of the People's Convoy and their supporters, that's the sound of freedom. The group's members say they want freedom from COVID-19 restrictions and to the nearly 2-year state of emergency put in place by the federal government.
Certain members of our government are starting to understand that they work for us.
On Monday, for the second day in a row, the People's Convoy and other groups took to the Capitol Beltway that circles Washington, D.C. The truckers drove at the minimum legal speed to impact traffic and get the attention of lawmakers.
We're in it for the fight. You know, we want to talk to some senators and congressmen, and we want something done. We're here. We came clear across the country. We're here.
But COVID restrictions across much of the U.S. have already been lifted. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention changed its recommendations in late February to advise the majority of Americans they can go mask-free in most settings. But the convoy is still finding support.
I'm completely behind what the truckers are doing. I think it's great. They're grassroots, and we need more grassroots.
It's unclear how long the convoy will remain, but the National Guard has been authorized to help with traffic through Wednesday. In Washington, Caroline Shively, Fox News.
A bit later, seasonal affective disorder or seasonal depression. Look at how people can make themselves feel better.
Well, it turned out to be a cold day for us today. We had cloudy skies all day long, and our temperatures stayed into lower 30s behind the storm system over the weekend. Gave us all the rain, showers, thunderstorms across the region, about 1.25 inches, some areas more than that. We're approaching 4.5 inches for the year so far. Our average is about 4.5. We're only behind by about 1/4 inch, which isn't too bad, which means we're right about where we should be for this time of the year. All right, look at our temps. Yesterday was chilly, lower 40s. Today, lower 30s. It's getting cold outside for us right now. We're into the 20s on the Kansas side where the clouds have been breaking up. Lower 30s, southwestern parts of Missouri, but everybody's going to back down into the mid-20s a little bit later on tonight. The clouds have been breaking up. We look okay. We're dry across the region, but these clouds will start to thicken back up and actually start to push right back on into the region as we go into the overnight hours tonight. So mostly cloudy skies later tonight, mostly cloudy skies once again for us tomorrow as a weak wave is going to pass to our south. That wave out across the southern parts of the Rockies is going to slide out southern parts of the plains, giving us clouds, but I really think any rain will stay mainly south of us, which is good news. All right, so clouds thicken back up, mid-20s, mostly cloudy skies for us tomorrow. Temperatures a little bit better. We do go into the mid-40s for afternoon highs. Here's your day planner, 27 to start, 39 by noon, high temp right around 44 as we go into the afternoon. By tomorrow night, we may even get a few random little sprinkles or flurries in here, and then we'll clear out late. Wednesday actually looks pretty good. We see partly sunny skies. We warm up into the mid-50s during the afternoon. We should go into the 50s again on Thursday, but we see a pretty good drop by the time we head into Thursday afternoon. You can see we're into the 50s, but look at the snow developing to our north, mainly north of Kansas City. So as that line heads south, will most likely start as rain and then switch over to a little bit of light snow Thursday night into Friday morning. As a second wave kicks out, this will increase the snow a little bit during the daytime hours on Monday. Most likely, this will be accumulating, but temperatures will be near freezing. It's still 4 days away, so we got some time to watch it, but we do have chances for accumulating snow once again. 44 tomorrow, 55 on Wednesday, 54 on Thursday, only 32 on Friday into the teens Friday night, and kind of chilly heading into the weekend.
The thing about that time change, though, going back to that, once you get used to it, it's awesome.
Yeah, it's great. Sunsets at about
Yeah.
7:30. Not bad.
You just have to get used to it.
Yeah.
Thanks, Doug. Coming up in sports, 2 Pittsburgh high school athletes signing letters of intent today, plus the Galena boys preparing for their 3rd straight trip to the state tournament. Danny Terzer has all the details next.
Two Pittsburgh seniors signed letters of intent today. Cooper Hayden and Andrew O'Doherty continue their athletic careers at the college level. Hayden signs to play baseball at Neosho County Community College. He will play in the infield and pitch for the Panthers. Andrew O'Doherty is headed to an MIAA school. O'Doherty is joining the football program at Washburn.
So this has been a very long-term goal for me. I've wanted to play baseball in college for basically the whole time I've been playing baseball. It's good to see that my hard work has paid off, but I'm excited to put more hard work in and maybe go farther.
One of my former teammates, LJ Butcher, is also up there, and he was someone I looked to for advice, and he had great things to say about them. I am not on scholarship, I'm a preferred walk-on, but hopefully I can just earn my stripes and move up the depth chart, and hopefully make the coaches know who I am.
The Galena boys are 21-1 and are coming off a 65-39 win over Columbus in the sub-state championship this past weekend. That win earned the Bulldogs a spot in the state tournament. It's Galena's 3rd straight trip to state. They finished as the runners-up last year. The team is hoping their experience in big games pays off this time around.
We had a good group coming back again. That'd be our goal, to come out first and try to win the conference again. We did. To win the sub-state, we just got that done Saturday night, but then to make it back to state and take another shot at it.
We've been in a lot of big games over the last couple of years, and I think that's going to really help us. Just like getting the nerves out, just being familiar with the basketball that's going to be played out there. We got to be ready for every battle we have.
Galena hits the floor against Thomas More Prep in the quarterfinal round of the state tournament. That game is set for Wednesday at 8 p.m. in Hutchinson. Missouri Southern softball is 11-7 through their first 18 games. The Lions are currently on a 6-game winning streak heading into their MIAA opener. Southern opens conference play this week, hosting a doubleheader against Central Missouri on Friday.
We found out who this team is as far as energy goes and what it looks and feels like when we're at our best. I think just playing the tough competition early, getting through that together, sticking together, we're starting to find ourselves now. We'd be lying if we didn't say we're trying to win it all. We're going for it, and I think in order for us to take a step in the right direction for this program, it's time to make some more noise in the postseason.
Missouri Southern basketball finished as the runners-up in the MIAA conference tournament. The Lions fell to Fort Hays State in a defensive battle in the championship game on Sunday. The final score was 48-42. That's the lowest scoring title game in tournament history. Lacey Stokes led the Lions with 15 points, 7 rebounds, 3 assists, and 3 steals. Lane Skiles added 10 points and 5 boards. Both Stokes and Skiles were named to the all-tournament team. They are the first 2 Lions to ever receive the recognition. Southern's historic season isn't over yet. The Lions have earned the 4th seed in the Central region. So it's back to work. They'll face St. Cloud State in Hays, Kansas at 7:30 on Friday.
They're hurt right now because we wanted to win this championship bad, but the thing is we get an opportunity to play again. One thing for sure, Fort Hays, it'll be a great atmosphere because their fan base. It'll be a lot of fun, and our kids will be excited about playing in front because they love playing in front of big crowds against great competition. So we're looking forward to it.
Back with more news after this.
If those winter blues have you feeling down, you may not be alone. Researchers say millions of Americans deal with seasonal affective disorder, also known as SAD. Fox's Sal Giangrasser explains what it is and how people suffering from it can make themselves feel better.
In just about 2 weeks, it'll officially be spring, but people across the country are still dealing with winter.
I like the snow, and then I like to be here and working.
But not everyone likes wintry weather. When we deal with snow and shorter days, and when some people experience seasonal depression, it's not clear who will get symptoms. Researchers estimate 3% of the U.S. population experiences seasonal depression every year. It's more likely people will deal with the disorder in the fall or winter But some people actually have symptoms in the summer, and as many as 20% of the population in northern states, like Michigan, may experience the disorder.
Women are more likely to develop seasonal depression. About 4 times more women will experience seasonal depression than men.
Researchers say they don't know why, adding children as young as 6 years old have been diagnosed with seasonal depression. Some people experience the disorder later in life when they are starting to age.
You can take some easy measures at home to counteract or treat yourself for seasonal depression.
That includes making sure you get natural light in the morning and considering the use of a light therapy lamp daily for 30 minutes. You'll also want to eat healthy, exercise, and ensure you get a proper amount of vitamin D. Doctors say people who are affected should start to feel better in a matter of weeks after trying these tips. Salchi and Grasso, Fox News.
Coming up, run through of the entertainment coming your way this week, right here on Fox 14. The Masked Singer and Domino Masters bring the competition to Fox TV this week. Here's Fox's Ashley Dvorkin.
Competition's premiere, A Search for Love, concludes. Here's what's hot on Fox.
You have a heart condition.
First, Monday on 911 Lone Star, Paul faces a medical emergency threatening his job.
But Tony, I'm not able to come get you right now.
Then on The Cleaning Lady, Tony is forced to find her way back home from Mexico, with Garrett stepping in to help.
Dr. Hawkins called to say he's on his way to the FBI.
Tuesday on The Resident, a shocking secret from Cade's past surfaces.
My stomach can't take this.
Then on I Can See Your Voice, guests Candy Burris, Vanessa Lachey, and Jim Jeffries offer up their best Can They or Can't They Sing guesses.
Welcome to the Masked Singer!
Wednesday, it's the return of the Masked Singer with Season 7 introducing contestants in 3 categories: the good, the bad, and the cuddly.
It's topple time.
That's followed by the premiere of Domino Masters, hosted by Eric Stonestreet.
Cheers to one hell of a ride.
Thursday is the season finale of Joe Millionaire for Richer or Poorer. Then it's a sick day on Call Me Kat just as a local TV crew visits the cafe. And the pivoting trio put issues aside to celebrate their late friend's birthday. The week rounds out with WWE Friday Night SmackDown.
Get set. Go!
And in news about upcoming shows, Next Level Chef is renewed for Season 2, and So You Think You Can Dance sets a summer premiere.
Man, can you dance?
If you think you can dance, auditions will be held in New York City, Los Angeles, and New Orleans. In Hollywood, Ashley Dvorkin, Fox News.
And that's our time for tonight. Thanks so much for joining us. Going to leave you tonight with a video of a bald eagle chick in California. Be safe. Do this all again tomorrow. See you then.